congregation to do something daily to engage in Holy Week as we prepare for Easter this coming Sunday. Now, one of the suggestions I made was to read the Passion narrative in the Gospels. I gave them the choice, either read one or maybe even read all four during this week. And well, after making the suggestion, it occurred to me that I could do that each day and I could put it up online. So I'm going to do that each day this week. I'm going to put it up online. And it will be a reading of Matthew 26 and 27 because we're in lectionary year A. And during this year, the church, or those of us who follow the lectionary, we read significant portions of the Gospel of Matthew. So year A is Matthew. So I'm going to read portions of Matthew 26 and 27 online every evening as we approach Easter. And I'm going to end on Good Friday so that we can leave Saturday, Holy Saturday, as a day of waiting, a day to be in the grave, as it were. Before I begin tonight's portion of the reading, I want to observe some of the challenges we face, particularly with the Passion narratives. These Passion narratives, the narratives about Jesus' death, have in the past, well, and actually in the present as well, as I observe the number of anti-Jewish hate crimes is on the rise in recent years. But these readings have contributed to Christian anti-Semitism. Often these texts are read uncritically, and doing so has at best led to casual anti-Semitism, and at worst, contributing to acts of violence against Jewish people, including pogroms, child stealing, and in our recent memories, the Holocaust. Scholar and teacher Dr. Amy Jill Levine notes, but Jews, the collective, all Jews, become known as Christ killers. Still haunting, the legacy of that charge becomes acute during Holy Week, when pastors and priests who speak about the death of Jesus talk about the Jews. Every year, the same difficulty surfaces. How can a gospel of love be proclaimed if that same gospel is heard to promote hatred of Jesus's own people? Now, Matthew's narrative, his Passion narrative, has in it a particular scene that is problematic when it comes to interpretation, particularly with regard to anti-Semitic ideas. During the trial, Pilate, the Roman authority, washes his hands literally of the whole affair, while all the people, read in most minds, all the Jewish people, clamor for Jesus' death. His blood be on us and our children, they say. The argument is often made, we are just reading the story. While that is true, we are also responsible for that story's interpretation. At its best, the church has reminded us that the correct answer to the question, who killed Jesus, is humanity, or everyone. We, you and I, are members of all the people. We are the crowd who moves from Hosanna, blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord on Palm Sunday, to crucify him on Good Friday. For more information, I'm going to leave some links for you for your reading in the description of the video, or I am always happy to have a conversation with you about this, and you're welcome to call me at the church, and that number is 515-964-1083. If I'm not available, please leave me a message. Or you may email me at pastoraccdoc@gmail.com. Both of those things will be in the description as well. With that caveat, I offer tonight's reading. Tonight's reading is Matthew 27:32-66. As they were going out, they found Simon, a man from Cyrene. They forced him to carry Jesus' cross. When they came to a place called Golgotha, which means skull place, they gave Jesus wine mixed with vinegar to drink. But after tasting it, he didn't want to drink it. After they crucified him, they divided up his clothes among themselves by drawing lots. They sat there guarding him. They placed above his head the charge that read against him. It read, "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." They crucified him with two outlaws, one on his right side and one on his left. Those who were walking by insulted Jesus, shaking their heads and saying, "So you were going to destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days, were you? Save yourself. If you are God's son, come down from the cross." In the same way, the chief priests, along with the legal experts and the elders, were making fun of him, saying, "He saved others, but he can't save himself. He's the King of Israel, so let him come down from the cross now. Then we'll believe in him. He trusts in God, so let God deliver him now if he wants to. He said, 'I'm God's son.'" The outlaws who were crucified with him insulted him in the same way. From noon until 3 in the afternoon, the whole earth was dark. At about 3, Jesus cried out with a loud shout, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you left me?" After hearing him, some there said, "He's calling Elijah." One of them ran over and took a sponge full of vinegar and put it on a pole. He offered it to Jesus to drink. But the rest of them said, "Let's see if Elijah will come and save him." Again, Jesus cried out with a loud shout. Then he died. Look, the sanctuary curtain was torn in two from top to bottom. The earth shook, the rocks split, and the bodies of many holy people who had died were raised. After Jesus' resurrection, they came out of their graves and went into the holy city where they appeared to many people. When the centurion and those who were with him guarding Jesus saw the earthquake and what had just happened, they were filled with awe and said, "This was certainly God's son." Many women were watching from a distance. They had followed Jesus from Galilee to serve him. Among them were Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's sons. That evening, a man named Joseph came. He was a rich man from Arimathea who had become a disciple of Jesus. He came to Pilate and asked for Jesus' body. Pilate gave him permission to take it. Joseph took the body, wrapped it in a clean linen cloth, and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had carved out of the rock. After he rolled a large stone at the door of the tomb, he went away. Mary Magdalene and the other mother were there, sitting in front of the tomb. The next day, which was the day after the preparation day, the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered before Pilate. They said, "Sir, we remember that while the deceiver was still alive, he said, 'After 3 days I will arise.' Therefore, order the grave to be sealed until the third day. Otherwise, his disciples may come and steal the body and tell the people he has been raised from the dead. The last deception will be worse than the first." Pilate replied, "You have soldiers for guard duty. Go and make it as secure as you know how." Then they went, and they secured the tomb by sealing the stone and posting the guard.